Very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the session. Recap on module test for as it is. Second recap, most of the students are absent. From Nungambakam, only one student, and from Paris, Pavitra and Pankaj Kumar from Petampara were joined for the session, and one more student from Dilip from City Nagar. So, Dilip, are you there in the last session? I did not find you in the last session, I think. Where is Devi? Yes, Dilip? Are you there in the previous session? You are on air. You can speak. Unmute your mic and you can speak. From
yesterday I didn't come.
Yes, yesterday are you present for the session?
No, ma'am. I didn't come.
So when you did not come. May I know the reason, Dilip? Not only this, I have found that you are irregular for the classes. Am I right? You are not continuously coming for all the classes. So how did you prepare for your module test? When is your module test? Tell me the date.
It's not a schedule for me, ma'am.
Why? Are you PGP student?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Then why it is you are not in the batch also? May I know the reason why? Have you completed your ASP?
ASP, yes, ma'am. I completed.
Did you write your module test?
No, not yet, ma'am. I have written only C#.
Module test for ASP, okay. That's the reason you are unable to write for AZURE also. But after completion of this, Friday, Thursday, all others are writing the module test. Okay? Once after they complete the module test, they will go for the project. So, project you want to do along with others means you should also be in the batch. So, as early as possible, try to rectify the problem and write all the module tests. Okay? But at the same time, you should be on time to your classes and you should be regular to your classes. At least project time, you should be very, that means regularly come to the center and work with the other students. How many are attending from your center? You are the only person, anybody else is there? Two more students. So all together must do the project, okay? So will you come to the center and do it, or you will sit at your home and do it?
In center I will do, ma'am.
You have to gather at the center. All together needs to work upon that, okay? So then only it is possible to complete on time your project, because all together as a team if you are working, then only it happens, okay? So all the best for you, and you will write whenever you complete your module test. It's your duty. Write me a mail with your marks. Okay? Yes or no, Dilip?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So they will logged in. So there are only 5 students right now. Okay. All of you remember, after completion of the module test on Thursday, there will be a batch will be created for you for the project. The project batch details are not yet received by me also, but I will put it in our group. So the project details, when the project batch, what is the project batch code? In our 499 batch group only, I am going to store in that AZURE batch code. I will write the new batch code with which your project will be created. Project batch number. Okay. So with that I will create one group also. That group name also I will mention in that. What are all things you have to do, who is your faculty, who is going to guide you. Certain details I am going to post in the AZURE in your group. But that group I will create once after I will come to know batch code of your project. So from the centers all together, after once you have put it into the project batch, you will get an option in your nrtstudent.com to select a specific project. There will be 3 or 4 projects will be provided to you with the abstract. So download the abstract of all the projects. Before you select a specific project, You download abstract of all the projects, go through the abstract of every project, and then whichever you feel that you interested to do it, you interact with other friends and all together take a decision on which type of on which project you all need to work. And if you want to work on two different projects, you all can do. There is no rule that my friend is doing on XYZ project, I should also work on XYZ project. Not like that. You can take your own decision with the help of the centered faculty, and after reading the abstract, you just confirm what project you want to do it and select that project and click on submit in the nrtstudent.com. Then that will be taken as the selected project for you. Okay. And once it is selected, now as per the abstract, you create the data. First gather the information, what are all to be, that is, SDLC phases, same phases you follow. First, retrieve the complete details about the project, what you have to implement. Okay, so make it as a document, SRS document. Then you go for design diagrams. That means you go for the diagrams. What diagrams? UML diagrams. Most of you are engineering students, so you are aware of UML diagrams. If anybody is not IT background, then also you can go for the, you work with others, or you can go for Google and search for UML diagrams. Okay, they will explain what is what diagram. In that UML diagrams, in minimum, you need to go for class diagram and use case diagram, class diagram, and sequence diagram and activity diagram. These are the mandatory ones. Okay, so these are the diagrams mandatorily you prepare for all the functions that you are going to implement. Once that is done, then you start the development. So everybody should work on everything, madam. Means you that means divide the task among you people, batch students. Okay, so everybody will not work on the same one, so that the time will be wasted. So once everybody will, that differentiates your modules like that, everybody simultaneously work on your own module which is assigned, and then cumulatively get it to one location and see whether all are okay or not. Any modifications required, you all can talk to each other and do the modification. But all these documents safely put it in somewhere OneDrive or like that. Why? Because if you lost it, you can get it from that OneDrive. So don't at the last moment, madam, due to some my system crash, I lost all the files. Don't tell like small kid stories. So you need to put it in your OneDrive. From there you need every day, whatever modifications you have done, you put it in your OneDrive, so that at any point of time you can be able to access them and you can download them and you can work on that. Okay, so every day make a good habit. Every time you take a backup of your latest one. Okay, so after development, testing, you people are only testers now. You people need to test on your own. Whatever drawbacks are there, any functionality, logical issues, everything you need to identify. Performance of your application also you need to check. If everything is okay, then you can show that one to your faculty. In case while doing any, while working with the project, you are getting some doubts, then what will happen? You can ask someone going to help you for the project. Or you can mail to the cloud faculty who is there in your nrtstudent.com. So that faculty is good. If I am there, you can send it to me so that I will help you out. Okay, so like that. So check who is the faculty, cloud faculty, who is your center level faculty, and with the help of them you please do it. And first when you are developing, all the pages look and feel very nicely. You design with HTML and use JavaScript for giving some effects for some of the places, so that they will understand every concept you have learnt in your PGP model. HTML you learnt, so that in the HTML, CSS you learnt, jQueries you learnt for giving the effects. All those you utilize while designing the pages. And C# code, ASP, MVC code you utilize. And Azure means using Azure you try to host it in case the Azure subscription is still working. But I don't think so that by the time you complete the project it will not work. So that at least on your own, you host it in local IIS and try to check it. Okay, so these are the minimum things you do it and work on your project. That some of the details, what is your batch code and what are the different projects are there, you need to tell me because I cannot see those projects. So one of you, once you have been kept into your project batch, one of you please download all the assets and send it to me, so even I want to check for that abstract. Okay, so now let us go to our topics. What are that we are going to check for the recap. Okay, so I'm opening courseware. Let me just give me a minute of time. I'm opening the courseware. So is it clear to all of you what I said about your project? What are all you have to do it? Raise your hand and confirm me. Devi, Nungambakam said, who is guest 001? Logged in with guest ID. Nungambakam. Paris Center, Pavitra, I do understand. Okay. From Chennai T Nagar Center, Delhi. Pankaj from Pitampara. Rohini Center, guest 002. So all of you please confirm, is the project details is clear for you? After this module, after the module test, you need to work on that. If at all it is taking time for the project batch, still your previous batch students, anybody is there who is working on the project, same projects will be there. Ask them to download the abstract and give it to you. You can, before, even though you are not there in the batch, you can simultaneously start working on that. Okay, so whenever it is enabled for you in your nitstudent.com, then you can be placed. Then they put it in this batch. So I'm asking, who is this? Nangambakam guest 001. I just want to know the name. Okay, they put you in this batch means I got doubt. Venkat Narendra. Okay. So Venkat, are you there in the batch right now? I don't think so that you are in the batch. Are you in the batch right now? In the 499 batch? Others, all others are there who is going to write their module test on this 16th. That is nothing but day after tomorrow. You inform the same at the centers. We have day after tomorrow module test. SAPlog needs to be uploaded. So our faculty inform in the cloud classroom session. Okay. So let's go. Okay, I opened already. So I don't expect that whatever I am telling, only those concepts will come. Everything as the part of your module. Wherever syntaxes are there, what syntaxes you need to concentrate. So where they will miss some of the things, that's what I'm telling. But I don't mean that that is only going to come. All the theory topics you have to learn. Okay. Be in this batch. Okay. Okay, Venkat. Okay. We were completed with third module last class, right? So we will start with the fourth module. That is also purely web API only. In that web API, I'm just giving you the idea. There are some configuration settings will be there. There are some what security apply, how to apply the security for your web API, how to apply the not dependency resolver. So that I dependency resolver, that type of interfaces names also you should remember. So I'm opening, just give me a moment. I'm sharing my desktop. Just wait. This is what we have. you can see this fourth chapter. So see here, in this one I told you that you can access the web API application, that means consuming web applications using AZURE as well as using the HTTP client. That HTTP client time, can you see that there is some code, new HTTP client, get async. In that get async, see here, I think you are able to see whatever I am just showing. So an asynchronous action method means calling a function in asynchronous mode. Asynchronous means parallelly performing more than one task. That means whatever function you are calling, whether it is completed or not might be, doesn't matter. I am able to give one more request to my server. So simultaneously giving multiple requests means sending the request in asynchronous mode. But at the time, avoid word like that words are mandatory, that you have to see this type of syntaxes also you need to check. Okay, and you will have only objective questions. There are no subjective questions in your module. So in this one, please check all these steps. So plus go through the steps whatever he was given. So, and I have told you one more. Just let me, some theoretical concepts also you have to read, which I am going to tell you. So here, ASP.NET security, which I am going to tell you. In this security, whatever classes he is going to use and whatever syntax he is going to use is very, very important. And so whatever is there in your book, such type of as it is copy paste code also will be there with minor modifications. So where he is modifying, that is error. So you need to identify that and you need to identify the correct code. So you can see that. So theoretically also please go through this one, okay. So there is one table, I think this type of question is very, very, very important question. You can see that there is a table was given credentials types. So okay, identity type Windows means what is that authorized by IIS, and description is an identity used when working with a domain. Okay, the client sends a user token. This is what at the time of security, which type of security? Windows security, basic authentication, user ID and password, how it asks that security. Like the different certificates also you can attach to your application, so that using that certificate it can be authenticated. So like that there are many types of forms authentication also, you know, that is what in our application we will create some user ID and password. Membership in ASP also we learned. ASP MVC we have learned membership concept, where your roles we can create users. Some of the users you can group as a role. For the role you give some permission, so that all the users within that role are allowed to do that task. So like that we used to group and give the settings of security. So how you are going to miss different types of security will be there. That was explained with the description. This table as a mandate, please read. Okay, because what do you mean by certificate like that? Some from this description, one of the lines will be given. It comes under which type of authentication. So you need to tell that is it certification authentication or of authentication it is. So this is the way how you need to go through the that theoretical topic. That table is very important. Please go through the table. And next one is the syntaxes. You can see that user identity information. This is the same code will be given to you, and he will give you some. Otherwise, he will ask you identify the correct code that retrieves the user identification information, identity information. So this is the code, whatever he was given, that is the correct code. So somewhere in one of the lines he will give something wrong. So you should check this type of code correctly, or else in the question itself he will give this code, and he may give correct, he may give wrong. He will ask you to identify the output. If he is giving some error, he will tell you in the options, line 2 should be changed like this, line 3 should be replaced by this code, like that he will give. So you need to identify. Certain times he may give completely correct code. You need to tell that just above code retrieves the identity information of the user. So that is the answer you need to select. So you please check, this is the same code we have done. If you really recall tokens time, two examples I told. One is simply dummy token, we were fake token we were created and we retrieved the values of them and we were displayed also. The same as it is code which I gave you the demo. If you see that demo file, you are able to get this one. Okay. This is the one which you can, that same code identity control. So you can see that identity. This is the principal.I identity, interface identity is equal to, okay. Like that some class names and interface names are mandatory. So please go through that type of codes. And another code in this one is very important one is, so you can see custom authentication delegation handler. So custom means only the word indicates the delegation handler. That means I am creating my own class that handles the security. That handles the security. That means I am delegating the security work to our own class which we are creating. So that is custom. Custom word itself means user defined. So user defined authentication delegation handler. So I need to create any named one. This is also one which we have done. The last demo is this one only. Okay, it should be inherited from delegation handler. This is the entire code will be available in your internet also, I told. Only modification we have to do in the validation of the user time. So I can show you that code also which will be there here. There is a function validate user code will be there. Can you see authenticate user? This is the function time. You need to modify the code. Here he was given as username double equal to password. That means if username and password both are same was given, it is the correct user ID and password. But do we want to give, that means ABC means correct. XYZ means correct. Like that it will be code will be there. You have to modify that code as per your requirement. What should be username, what should be password, if entered by the user, it is correct. So here is the place you need to customize however you like. Instead of username is equal to password, username is equal to NIT and password equal to limited, like that I have given when I am teaching. So like that you have to modify that code, and that is the only modification you have to do. After modification, this is the class you have created as your own custom delegate security handler. But computer doesn't know all this. It's your duty to specify that this as the delegate handler, security delegate handler. Where should I tell? There will be one file for you where you need to set the safety. Can you see configuration in which file? You have to do, there is a web API config.cs. Web API config.cs file will be there, in which you can go for the configuration settings of the other which class you created as the authentication handler. So that class name is here config.roots.map http root. This is normal entry, but ours is here. This see here. This is one methodology. This is config like that. But here is a place config dot your delegation handler is equal to new your class name, custom class, whatever your authentication message handler is the class name you gave, which is inherited from delegate handler. So that class, custom class that you have created, that means delegate handler is equal to that name to be provided in new class name. So this is what we have done in our one. Let me open our notepad which I have given you. 1 minute, okay? Where is that file I missed out? Saying different one I am opening. Now you see here, what is the step he was not given properly or there, that I am going to show you, not in this one, so previous demo. Okay. Can you see this? This is what I told. See, config.messagehandlers.add in the bracket new authentication message handler to be given. If this line is missing that you are providing in the web API config.cs file, it will not work. So creating simply a file is not sufficient. I mean, class that handles the security is not sufficient in web API configuration settings. What we have to do, we should go to a file called as web API config.csl. This is purely web API files. Okay. Third chapter and fourth chapter deals with web API because HTTP services we are learning. In that, how you can provide the settings means we should go to web API config.cs and we need to set message handlers is nothing but your security providers. Which class you have, custom class you have created is the class name you have given it as authentic. This is not predefined one. This what is the name that you have given for your class, the same. So here you see here I have given the name for this as you can see. Class name I have given as authentication message handler. So I need to give here ABCD. If I am giving, I have to give it as a new ABCD in the message handlers.add in the web API config, which he was not given or that is also you need to remember as the compulsory step that you need to do it. You sometimes you will do like that. Sometimes in the configuration files, the config files we can go for settings. So this is the best way that you need to go to web API config.cs file and you need to do it. This type of lines also very, very important. After doing everything, still it is not working. Means it's because of this line you did not add in the web API config.cs file. So this demos, whatever I gave it also, you please recall from when you are working with your courseware. Okay. So some of the times, this is a simple coding map roots are there, but map roots is not what I want. I have to specify and authorize attribute also I told you, which specifies that whatever methodology, action methods you are creating, those action methods to be accessible only after giving the credentials. Otherwise, they are not to be accessible. So anything like that means authorized attribute you have to give. You can see that entire class you are authorizing, saying that all the functions which are inside are only accessible when user gives the username and password. So any function if you access from this web API, it will give you a message. It will give you a login screen where you need to enter username and password. What username and password you are entering, that will be checked by what? Authenticate user method of your already created custom handler, message handler. So in that you are giving username is equal to NRT and password is equal to limited. So if you provided the same, it will work. then it will allow you to access these functionalities, otherwise it will not allow you to access the functionalities. So these are the settings without sort. And another one, in this authorize, in this what, so whenever you give for the class, it is for all the functions authorized attribute you are applying. But for one of the functions, I don't want any authorization is required, but for rest of the ones, authorization is required. Then what to do? Only especially for the function for which authorization is not mandatory, above that function action method, you write that allow anonymous. Allow anonymous indicates that anybody can access this particular action method without providing the credentials. But by providing the credentials, don't give allow anonymous. Instead of that, you need to give authorize. So is that clear for difference between authorize and allow anonymous attributes? Allow anonymous says anybody can access this one. Authorize means only after authentication only. If the user ID and password provided by the user are correct, then only the user is able to access it. Any doubts? Like that, please go through each and every line. So there are some places, authorized attribute explanation. See here, I told whatever I told, that is here. Allow anonymous. Okay, whatever I told, those will be there here. Please check custom authentication field. See, all these you have to go through. The coding that we have done is also important. So whenever you are reading the chapter, third and fourth chapters time, whatever I gave you for Web API, all the coding, take it all. I have provided all the messages, programs. I have kept it in a single document, right? Open the document simultaneously and see the code also after reading is over. Courseware, you read third and fourth chapters and go to Web API. Fifth and sixth chapters you complete and go to WCF notes. So then you will understand practical as well as syntactically in the program whatever was given, and here also settings wise you can be able to understand. Real programming means whatever demos I have given in the notepad, that can help you out. Okay, so this is the way indexing the dependency means what? That means in the controller I don't want to provide my data mod, that means data layer also. I want to separate my data layer separately, and from that data layer I want to access with the help of an interface. Direct connectivity also I don't want to provide between my data source as well as my controller action methods. This happens through the interface. So request from the controller action methods to interface. Interface will send it to, will check whether the request is coming from the right controller or not. If so, it will create one object for your data context and send that data context to your using the constructor to your controller action method. So using that object, we are able to perform the other tasks in your controller. So direct interaction we are not giving from the controller to data context also. It happens via an interface. So that is dependency injection. Whatever code I have given in the same document, whichever I opened, it is available. Very important thing is all the settings needs to be checked. So now you can see in such type of chapters. So you can see that dependence option, whatever was given in the slide also without fail, please read, because these syntaxes are very, very important. Whatever code was given, that is also is going to be given in your exam for checking whether have you gone through the textbook, each and every syntax or not. So it does not mean that same whatever is given, but same type of questions might be given. Okay. So this is about, in this way, I cannot say that this is only the question which is going to come, because in Azure, every time different questions you will get it from only from your courseware, not even a single question out of the courseware. So if after completion of the exam, if you really come and refer to your textbook, same as it is, questions will be there in your courseware also. So it does not mean that at the time, I don't want anybody so to open any mobile, I don't want anybody switch off your mobiles while you are writing your module test. Nobody should comment you at any point of time, and nobody should disturb you when you are writing the exam. So first you make a good habit, you put it in your vibrate mode or in switch off mode of your mobile, Then only go to your examination place, machine room, where you are going to give your test, and take one paper. If you have any doubts, if you want to exercise, you can do. But for Azure, I don't think so that you require the pen and paper like that. If it is like any algorithms like that, means you can go. But in Azure, only syntaxes and programming, if you know, then only you can do it. Okay. For that, like paper pen work is not required. So let us go to the fifth module, that is purely WCF. From the WCF, even the theoretical questions about the layers. You have different layers in the architecture of the WCF. Web, I mean that WCF means Windows Communication Foundation. In that, the architecture WCF time, I gave the notes also. Please go through that notes. There are some layers will be there. Each layer was explained properly with some syntaxes. How simple I'm telling, blindly from WCF, how the questions will come. I'm going to give one small one. So I want to pass whenever any error comes in anything, so that there is an interface for what is that interface? Interface name is iService. I want you people to identify, is there any drawback, is there seed, and is it correct or not, is there any syntactical errors are there, anything is missing, you need to tell. Okay, so in this I'm writing as int so and there is a class service. I want everybody to respond after I write, and I'll tell you the question. Is it correct or not? If it is correct, you can. So don't think that because I am asking there might be some error. If there might be error, there might not be error. You need to answer. Please answer. So in this, anything is missing? Anything is missing here? Pitampura Center students, Pankaj, Get 007, Sudhi Mittal from City Center, Nirosha from City Nagar Center, Dilip, Paris Pavitra, Nungambakam Center, Venkat Narendra, Devi, and from Anna Nagar. Anybody is found any mistake in this WCF service which I created? So you all said that so many modules you have finished reading, right? Day after tomorrow you are writing exam. This is like a blunder question. If this you are unable to answer, rest of the questions also you are unable. I'm telling frankly, because that much simple question I asked. Something is missing here. Not one response. Let me check. Very good, Devi. Correct it is. So, but something else. That's what Devi is saying is above this service contract to be given. So, is that sufficient, Devi? Anything else is missing? If you are able to answer this, one more you need to answer at the same time, in link with that. Why others are not even responding? What happened to Pitampura Center students? What happened to others? Devi and Nungamakam Venkat Narendra, Pavitra, Dilip and Nirosha, Sudhi from City Center. There is no, see, very difficult. How you will write, I am getting confused. Very difficult, I am telling, if this is the case. Operation contract is the one must be there. If that is not there, it never will work. It is not, first of all, it is not accessible if you don't give the operation contract, that you have to identify. Think so that there might be chances that there are some exceptions might to run when you execute this divide function. When the client requests for this divide function, they may send the 0 as a value for y. So divide by 0 errors like that. So, but that information needs to be sent to the client, means they will give like that. Okay, fault contract in the bracket. So let me create one more class, that class and thing, so that my info, one class which I am writing. Okay, so here I am going to create the class using which the error information can be sent to the client. Public %, is it's like a 4-mark questions. Okay, error number, make it as public. I forgot, that is not a problem. Then public will be there. Still some errors. How you need to identify is whatever class name you have specified here, directly you should not specify. You should write with a type of. If the type of is not there, it is 100% wrong. So the 100, that's what one. And second one is whichever class you are taking, that is the whose object you want to send, because using which I want to send the error information to the client. The class must be declared as data contract, and internal functionalities for each function, for each variable, I should write that data member. This is a how simple question for this 4 marks he will ask. Wantedly in every option, either one he will miss. Either in one of the options he will give data member for one variable, he will not give. And in one option he will give data member for both, he will not give data contract option for the class. So like that, in one option for either one, he will not give either data contract or data member. So you need to check properly and give the answer accordingly. Okay. So this is the syntaxes also, it is going to be checked in your CF services. So in this CF services, even he will ask, you need to remember how you are going to access the CF service. You can host it where? You can host it directly, self-hosting. You can do self-hosting, code is mandatory. So I'm not going through the courseware and all this because so much code is there that I cannot tell. I'm just telling from here only, from the 4th, 5th and 6th chapters, what you have to identify. These are all the syntaxes which I told to be identified. Data contract, data member is mandatory. And when you are specifying this class or name as the class that takes care of sending the error information to the type of is mandatory, which should be given with fault contract. Okay, and in the client location another, so coding I have done. After doing all these at the service level, at the client consumer place time, try and catch blocks to be given. In the catch block, fault contract catch block to be given. And in the fault contract, in the less than greater than symbols, you have in the brackets you have to specify this my error info class name. So because I am going to receive the object of this type of class, so I need to specify this class name in the client one with the name of my parent class namespace. I mean service namespace dot my error info I need to provide. Where at the client side, in try and catch block. In the catch block, actually divide by 0 exception, like that, how exception EX like that will give in the bracket. There only this my error info should be there in the client side to handle the error. So that's the another one. And in this CF, you need to go through each and every line of self-hosting. Self-hosting time, I have given you the syntaxes. So you need to create one service class object, service host class object you need to create. So after creating service host object, you have to create an endpoint. You need endpoint address or endpoint behavior you need to do in the bracket CBA, that means first contrast, then binding, then to be given as the argument. So he might exchange the places. So first he will give binding, then he will give the contract, then he will give the address like that. So you need to check at the time of hosting, this is the way, but consumer whoever is connecting, for that person only two will be there, that is binding and address will be there. So binding should be the first object, second object should be the address. So client side, while you are consuming it, this is hosting time, this is a methodology. But consuming time, only binding and address. So what he will do in this binding and address also, he will exchange the places. First address, then binding object he will give, so which is wrong. So you should specify that binding object should be the first object of this add endpoint behaviors method. So that is the one which you need to identify. That all the code is there in your file. So let me show you that file also once, so that you will get some idea. Show you once this is. Either what I am telling, either one you miss, it will not work. Anything. See, behavior once if you don't write also it will work, so no need to worry for that. Exceptions, consuming time, this is here. WCF service hosting, self-hosting, I told you, self-hosting. Hosting also is using self-hosting. This is a place I am telling. All the syntaxes are very, very important. See, operation contact you are giving, and for in the class where you are implementing it, that is okay. That type of small mistakes will not give, but this is the code he will check. This is the code for hosting it. See here, I am hosting the class my account, and I am creating one binding object. Here is the place I told first contract type of my account. That means interface is the contract. Then binding object, then address. Where you with what address this this service is accessible by the client. This is the hosting. You are hosting it. So hosting okay, but when you are trying to access from a console application for consuming that, so what you have to do is this is a place. So you need to understand this channel factory creation place. You can see in the bracket first binding object, then address and point address. So what he will do is he will extend these places. So you need to tell that binding object should be the element of the new channel factory creation time. This is what I am telling that you have to remember and do it. Okay. So this type of syntaxes are very, very important. Coding wise is also very important. So not only going through the text of, courseware and reading, open this, whatever demos I have told for self-test code, you see line by line. According to that also you can identify what. So this coding is very, very important. These syntaxes are first important. Binding object he will not give channel factory creation time. He will give like of exchanging the arguments either. Please check all this. So you don't simply select its address is there binding, like binding first then address, reverse order. Okay, B comma A, but not A comma B like that. So that you need to identify and do it. Okay. So run WCF service created in step 2. Okay, this is what. And exceptions handling also see here. Exceptions handling time, this is the one. And another very important is you need to modify. That is include exceptions in false. There will be one property in web.config named as include exceptions in false value to be given as true. So that if you are not giving, the client cannot be able to send the messages. How much you did also, it is unable to send the error messages to the client when that property is not set to true. So go to your web.config, you are able to find that property, include exceptions in false. So if you give that property, then only. So he will give you one question. If even though this much I have done, I am not in a position to send the error information to the client. So what is missing is in one of the options, you have to go set this property in the web.config file, include exceptions in false. Then it will be sent. That is the option you need to identify and check, and you need to select that particular option. So that property is very important. That's also you need to. So that will be there in your courseware also. You please go through. So in the courseware also it is there. Even that is you can easily understand because I told you now. So you will search for that option, it will become very easy for you to identify the correct one. When certain times you are getting any doubt, when 4 options are viewing, so make a policy of odd man out type. Whichever you found that something error, that you remove it. In the rest of the ones you do the comparison, then you are able to identify one more error in one of the options, some error, so you odd man out type, you remove it, so that finally you are able to identify the correct one. Certain times this is correct one, directly we cannot be able to understand, we will get confused. So odd man out type, each option compare with one another, what difference is that, you check it, then you are able to understand, oh, this is missing here, so this is wrong, so remove it. Like that, every option time you check in the same procedure, you are able to do it. So from this fifth and sixth chapters, WCF is very important, and WCF notes also I gave. One more, let me open that also and show it to you, not this. Here WCF notes also I have posted to you people. This is the place I am telling you will get these layers theoretical questions. At that time, what do you mean by throttling behavior also they may ask you. I have given very nicely in service runtime layer so many examples. Throttling behavior means what I told. So it's matter how many messages are processed which can be varied if the demand for the service grows. So this is the option he will give directly in your exam. It comes under which behavior is the question. So you need to select it as throttling behavior. So like that, many behaviors will be there in your service runtime. Each behavior meaning you should know. So I gave you this information. So certain times they will ask us like this question. So which of the following behavior specifies how many messages are processed which can be varied on demand? That means, so that is the sentence will be. So you need to tell that it is throttling. You need to identify that it is throttling behavior. So this notes whatever I have given, please go through that. In this I gave you even in the contract messaging layer also I was explained different types of channels. So see here, transport channels and protocol channels, each one purpose also I have. So please go through this and go, because the theoretical questions will come from these topics also. Is that clear or not? Click on plus if it is clear. That means how you need to read is not only from the courseware, all the lines you need to read, no two doubts, but syntactically if you want come to our programming and the theoretical program, whatever theory I have written for WCF, that also open. Even WCF demos file, whatever I have given also, you please check. Because same type of syntactical errors he will give, wantedly same line, he will ask you to identify it. So that you might not understand from, in the book correct answers he'll give. But if you see this program and binding object then followed by address object, but in your exam reverse order he will give, so you should be in a position to identify such type of errors also. But some of you did not answer. Is there any doubts? Any doubts, boys and girls? Any doubts? Devi, Venkat, Pavitra, Dilip, Nirosha, Surbhi, Pankaj. Any doubts, please confirm. So you try to understand. So some theory concepts also you will get, as well as practical oriented concepts also you will get it. So neither place you should put down. So if you read the courseware line by line, 100% I am telling you will succeed in your exam. And don't keep any cycle test pending. And so how many of you completed all the cycle tests? Can you tell me? Any cycle tests are pending with you? Cycle tests for some time. Closing these, okay? Any cycle tests? How many are? Everybody completed every cycle test. So you know you will get around 20% of marks. If you are not writing, you will lose that. Certain times if you are getting less marks in your module pass finally just because of your cycle test marks, PMR marks. Okay. Devi is saying that completed all cycle tests and Pavitra is also saying completed. Okay, very good. So others also I'm telling understand the value of these because you will get certain person from cycle test and PMR to identify the final grade of your AZURE module. So that is not only module test marks. From module 20% will be from your cycle test like that. So exactly I'm not telling, approximate I'm telling. So what will happen if you are scoring more in your cycle test and PMR, that will help you even though you are scoring less in your module test, final grade will be a good grade, you will be in the pass stage. So understand that value, none of the cycle tests you leave it. And I told you people to do the lab at homes, but none of the lab at homes I found that you people have done. Very few, 1 or 2 people were done, that's too not all the lab at homes, 1 or 2 lab at homes we have done. As per the report that I got it, that I am telling it to you. Okay. So you know that whether you really have done the lab at homes or not. As per my knowledge, none of you have done the lab at homes. The previous batch only at least 1 or 2 people were done. Because we will get the report. In that report, 0% is there for lab at homes. So what is the 7th chapter like that? The 7th and 8th chapter, 7th chapter, let me tell you, that is purely about deployment. And deployment time only TFS, we got the error, but in my system. But I think for all of you, TFS is really working in your machine. So anybody tried? Debbie, did you try TFS? TFS hosting, did you try? Pavitra? Nirosha? Why nobody is responding? All of you are there or not? TFS, I am unable to tell that you understand that TFS, there is a problem in my machine. Otherwise, not even a single step error in whatever document I provide. Nirosha, you tried. Did you get that demo? Is it was uploaded in TFS? Nirosha, you are saying yes, you have done. So, but is it working for you in your machine? Because in my machine it really created some trouble. That's the reason I am asking. Here I want to tell you a very important one. You have not done. But you try whatever TFS steps I have given. So deployment for TFS steps also I was given. Please go through that one. Okay. All the steps that I have given to you, 100% you will be able to get it in your machine. There is some problem in my machine. I got it because of which authentication error I am getting. But I as per mine, not because one of the students from Nungambakam already tried. It was uploaded in the TFS. Only from there, next step how to do it, that student is unable to do, but that student is completed uploading of the files into TFS successfully. So everybody is able to do it. Not only that student, everybody is able to do it. There is some problem with my machine, that's the reason it did not come. But otherwise, it is well and good, you can do it. And in the 6th chapter, I want to tell you a small thing. And 5th chapter, I think 5th module, let me tell you, these are the SOAP messages which last class also I told you should. There are some request message, response message in the web API we have seen. Like that, for SOAP messages also, one syntax will be there with the envelope. Can you see envelope and slash envelope? This is a request message, this is response message. Without fail, such type of XML settings is mandatory for you to see. That is internal, but that internal syntax also need to be known. Okay, that request process, request messages and response message syntaxes you need to see from 5th and 6th chapters. In 5th only he will give, in 6th chapter he will not give such type of one, but he will give the configuration settings. And what is configuration settings means, we have seen that In the WCF exception handling also in the WCF exception handling we have done. In that exception handling, for all the questions, ma'am, in cycle test for all. Okay, so let us go to appendix. Appendix you are saying, so let me check. First book only na appendix is there, Nirosha? It's taking too much of time. Let me change the number. Let me go to appendix once, okay? Actually, summarized data, he kept it in that appendix. That's the reason he is giving some additional concepts, which are advanced concepts he was given in that appendix. But did you find that is there any cycle test for AZURE? Did you check any sample test? I mean, sorry, not cycle test. Sample test, did you find it for AZURE? Any one of you write your username and password. Let me check whether it is there or not. If it is there, go for the sample test and take certain times. Better you take the screenshots of them. Why I am telling this? Just now you check those questions are coming from sample appendix or from normal chapters, so that you can identify also. So that is the same questions you are not going to get, but procedure to identify whether they are coming from the appendix or not. So, too much of time is taken. Okay, Nirasha, just keep it like that and I'll open now. Okay. Fast if I want to go also, it's taking time. Meanwhile, I'll open your courseware, your ID. Actually, for some of the modules, sample test is not there. That's the reason even I had a doubt. There won't be any sample test even for this. Previous batch students said that there is no sample test for this. So that's why I'm just checking. So this is online assessment you need to take. When you take on this AZURE DDAMA, sample test is there, my dear. You can go for the sample test without fail, minimum 3 to 4 times you write, you will come to know so easily. So what kind of questions you are getting, but the same questions you don't expect, but such type of similar type of questions also you can expect. So anywhere appendix is there, questions are coming, means go through the appendix also, okay? So did you understand sample test how to open? Are you seeing? You go for online assessment. This is not, this marks will not be considered in your final score test. This is only for like model test for your own. How many questions will come in your main module test? That many same number of questions will come, but same questions will not come. But same pattern you can understand from this place. So I'm just opening, but I'll close. Satya, I'll just open and I'll close. Oh, it's Satya, but why name is coming as Nirosha from city center? There is some problem over here. Oh, we are listening. Wow, great. Huh? I was really confused. I thought that might be Satya using a old student ID might be. I thought. Again, you write your student ID. I did not remember. Once again, you write. Password I wrote very fast. You see. Oh, one. Madam, you are not teaching 7th, 8th chapters. See, I cannot tell 7th, 8th, 9th why I am not going through those 7th, 8th, 9th chapters. All are important. Everything, see in every chapter, everything. Why from first chapter to still 6th chapter, where I want to show you that soap envelopes, even the settings also is part that you need to remember. Such type of questions also you will get to identify the request message format response. I told, but I don't say that only will come. But that type of pattern questions also will come, I'm telling. So based on that, from other chapters also you go through in the same fashion. Okay. So I don't want to give a blind information that these questions will come, these questions will not come. So that is the wrong procedure. So in your courseware, whatever is there, everything is important. From anywhere you may get the questions. Okay. So I'm Chrome, let me check whether it is working or not. Screen only I'm not getting first. So how many just I opened to say how many questions will come in your module test just for template to show. I'm not going to write the test. I will close it now itself. Okay. See here in the sample to courseware development. Okay. The total number of questions that will be presented to you is 36 questions. The amount of the time is 100%. I'm telling all are objective. In what way, if all are objective only, exactly into 2 minutes will be there. 36 questions means 36 into 2, 72 minutes you are going to get it. Okay, so 36 questions you are going to get on the whole in your module test. So all are objective. So there are no negative marks for answering a question incorrectly. So that means you can understand total time is given for you is only 72 minutes. Within 72 minutes question, all the 36 questions you have to read and answer. Okay. So even SP you will get little less questions, but in AZURE you will get 36 questions. So okay. This is, are you understanding? From these rules and regulations you can understand. If you start the test, then also you will get 36 questions are coming in is 100% all are objective. But think so that I'm telling, when you start the sample test, if I'm getting 34 questions, even after telling 36, it means that blind meaning, oh, that means 34 questions are objective, 2 are subjective, which it will not give in the sample test. In the sample test, they will not provide the subjective questions over here. So only they will provide the objective questions, so that even though, but in the guidelines, he told 36. When you are writing sample test after starting assessment, if I am getting less than the 36, you understand that some of the subjective questions also you will get in your module test. But as per my knowledge, there are no subjective questions for you in this AZURE module. Is that clear to all of you? So this is the way you need to start. Satya, I'm not writing the sample test. You please go ahead after going home. You can go through all this so that you will be aware of how you will get some idea also. You will get some idea. Am I able to answer these questions? So I'm telling you, take the screenshot of it and search from which chapters they are giving, which type of questions they are giving. So you will get some idea. 3-4 exams you write, sometimes same questions will be repeated in sample test, but at least few questions will be different. So from there you can understand. That's the reason don't write once or twice. You write 3 or 4 times, at least 50 to 60 questions, so unique questions you'll get. So those you said, you try to think what will be the output answer for this, you think, and then you go and check in the courseware whether it is you even write the exam also. Take the screenshot and you write the exam, your expected answers versus what are correct also it will show. So which are wrong, you go to the courseware and check from the courseware why it was error. But it will not tell which is the correct answer. It will tell that yours is wrong. But what is the correct option, it will not tell. So you need to go to the courseware and check for that in your chapters and identify where I am lacking skills. So what is the mistake I have done in understanding the question, where I have done the mistake. So accordingly you analyze your knowledge and do the practice. So then you are able to clear your exam easily. Okay, 72 minutes is more you'll think, but certain times some questions will be complex where you have to spend more than 2 minutes, but some questions will be there which are very simple, in half minute also you can be able to answer. So that means, so properly utilize your time. Wherever sometimes any question you are not getting idea at any time, so make it as bookmark and move ahead. Don't stop at one place only. Just move ahead and see other questions and answer. Then whatever bookmark questions are there, you refer again. And there are no negative marks as he said in your sample test. Same way in the original module test also you don't have any negative marks. So what you have to do? So finally, before ending the exam, it's your duty, remove all the bookmarks check boxes and answer one of the options as the correct answer. Might be correct, might be wrong, but no negative marks, but just analyze, odd and out type. So then you answer that and go it. If it is wrong also doesn't matter, only no negative marks for that. So don't keep in your brain that negative marks also I will not answer. Answer each and every question of your module test. Okay, this is what I want to tell you. In this module test you will get 36 questions of objective, all are objective, and you need to spend 7 tests. 10 minutes, if you want to complete, you can complete in 60 minutes. But if you want 80 minutes, you will not get it, okay? After 72 minutes, automatically your window will be closed. It automatically closes your exam. It even will not give a second extra. So read question and don't chit-chat with others in middle of the exam. Don't give very bad impression for others while you are writing the test. So sit like good boys and girls and then you complete your exam. How many marks you get it also, that should be your own knowledge. It's not somebody else you ask and write, then that is not your marks. Okay, so only depend on your knowledge and test your knowledge. It's not to test others' knowledge in your module test. You test your knowledge. So all the best to all of you. Any doubts regarding the number of questions or how many, that means timing, any doubts do you have any doubts in how should you attempt for your sample test? Any doubts? Because I don't want to tell in 7th, 8th, 9th, all are important. In the scaling of the last chapter, theoretical concepts are more. Scaling out, scaling up is there. That questions also will get. Scaling up, scaling out. What's the difference between scaling up and scaling out? Such type of questions also you are going to get. Please check. That's what I don't want to tell that this is important, this is important. That type of questions people will think that will not come, but they also might come. Okay. So I want everybody to respond. For the hand raise, you respond. How many of you completed? Till which module you have completed? The practicals. Started. I'm reading out the names. Only those students who start typing. Step by step, in which order I can see the names. Just at least module test. Always don't think of module test marks only. Subject, do I have the subject? First of all, is also the concept. Sometimes theoretically we may not do, but practically we might be very good. So depend on your knowledge. That means check your knowledge. Okay, practical knowledge is more mandatory. Okay. Devi, write how many modules have you completed practically? That means practicals till which module you have completed. out of 12 modules. Day after tomorrow, you all are writing the module test, right? Once after completion, I know that you people will not touch the Azure module because you will be busy with your project work. One of the students, I think Paris Pavitra or somebody, has written me a mail that because the cloud service I'm unable to install because I'm having Visual Studio 2012, I'm unable to do the practicals. So extend 1 week Azure subscription. It will not be in my hand. And one more thing, in my system also I have Visual Studio 2012, but it will install. It's not 2012, so 2012 is a minimum, okay? So from there you can install in a 2013 or 15 wherever. 2012 also it is possible. Who told 2013? No, in my system I have only 2012. Devi said that till 9. This is Pavitra who wrote me the mail. That's what I'm telling, Nirosha. I will give you in your group project batch code. Okay, who is your cloud faculty? So when it is going to start, even though it is going to start 2-3 days delay also, but you make a good habit in your centers. If at all previous batch Azure students are there, take their abstracts from them because you are unable to view the abstracts of the project until you have been placed into your project batch. Till time what you will do, take the abstract from other students, so whoever is with whom you are having the interaction, and work on that abstract, which you select one of the same abstracts will come for you also. So you can select one of them and you can start working on them even though you have been you have not yet been kept in the project batch. Okay, so project batch code details I'll put it in the group. In our Azure group I will keep it, and then I will create one group also for your project. That group name also I will post it in your Azure batch. Okay, Azure batch, I mean cloud group. That is not the problem of Visual Studio 2012, Pavitra. That is some other problem might be. Why? Because you know that whatever version I'm using in my thing, is it 2012 or not Visual Studio 2012? But it is working in my machine I have installed. There might be some other problem because of which it is not working. You please check, okay? But don't think that that is the issue. That is not at all an issue. Who told that it is 2012? It is not. It's in my system I have 2012 only. So what about now? I want from Paris and Pavitra, how many modules have you finished for practicals? And followed by Dilip and Nirosha. Dilip and Nirosha, both of you write till where you have finished your practicals. Not only Nirosha, Dilip, and one more student who is that, whose details I have opened from city center, Satya. Satya, you also please confirm till where you have done your practicals in the Azure. Why people are not responding fastly? Pavitra, write fast. Surbi Mittal from city center. All the best to all the students who are, that means all your batchmates, not only for whoever is attending today, for all of you, all the best for your module test. Niresha, you have completed till 3rd chapter. Satya, only 2nd chapter. Total 12 chapters are there. When you will finish other practicals? Paris and Pavitra, 7 modules. Dilip, why only 2 to 3 modules demos you have done? What about the rest of the modules? We have long back finished your 12th module, right? How long back we finished? Around 3 to 4 classes also. So why others are able to see? I'm telling, one of our Nungambakkam Center students, Joshan, he used to write a mail that I have finished my practicals even on station, madam. TFSI. So that person is thinking of practicals are mandatory. Why can't you do it? Even you can do it, but it depends on your interest. So don't say that I'm not getting the time. Why you will not get the time? Do you have any other business other than studies right now? If you have any AZURE subscription problem, you need to write to me so that I will send another student password so that you can work upon. One of the students wrote that one means I have really gave the other students the details as for practicing, so that a student was practice. You also need to think that the practicals are very important. Only don't think that ASP is my last module. AZURE is your last module, okay? But even after completion of CT, in module test, MT, you can, even 2-3 days will be the AZURE subscription, so utilize that time and work on that, on the demos, okay? So what about the other students? Surbi? What happened to Surbi? No ring. And Pankaj from Pitampura. If you tell, I will end the session for today. And this is the last session for your AZURE module. And all the best for your module test. I'm not getting any response from Surbi and Pankaj. I'll feel that they have left. Okay, Pankaj, I got it. 8 modules. Surbi Mittal from CP Center. No response from you. All others were responded. So now it's time for feedback. Give your feedback and all the best. Go to your home and practice. Go through your courseware as well as our activities. So demos, files, whatever I sent, and then you will succeed 100%. Okay? Have a nice day, all of you. So now I'm ending the session now. Feedback.